Attempt number 2. And I was thinking of just going straight from here to that hold. Yeah, and avoiding the one on the left, because that took me farther away from the hold. But that was easy. What do you do if you feel like you've plateaued in your climbing journey and you feel like you've been at this grade for a certain amount of time, you've consistently like maybe peaked at one point, but like you consistently in that range of like maybe 4 to 5 or 4 to 6, whatever your range may be. Like, how do you go above the hump or over the hill to start finding new territories in your climbing journey? So like going from like a 4 to 6 or 6 to 8, what do you need to do? And I feel like this is a question that many climbers face at one point in their journey. And one thing I will say is just remove the idea that you are bound to grades. What does that mean? Oftentimes, when you think you can only do something, you only stick to that grade, being like, I can never touch like a V10 or I can never touch a V8. That might be true, but if you never attempt it, you never know your capability, and that stops you from trying. And one of the most powerful things we have as climbers is that we try, and we understand the necessity of failing and the necessity of getting back up after you fail to try and try again. That's why I love the idea of projecting, because it's really saying, hey, I'm not succeeding at this thing at this very moment of time, but I know if I break it down into smaller pieces, I will eventually be successful at it. And I think that's such a beautiful idea, that we can take a task, chop it into smaller pieces, and then eventually link all the pieces together. And so if you feel like you've been at a consistent grade for like maybe a year or two, it's normal. Like maybe change some things, maybe add some training regimen to your diet, maybe start projecting harder levels, or stop saying if I can't do 4s, how am I going to do the 6? Change that mindset. Grades are subjective, they're man-made. There is not an objective way to grade stuff. All gyms have different levels. Maybe it's even what's your strengths. Like I know my strengths are like overhangy crimp stuff. I don't really touch slabs. I should touch slabs if I want to get better at slabs, but at the same time I have no desire to get better at slabs, but that's just me. But yeah, find stuff that suits your strengths. If you want to just work on your strengths, and just work on that. And also record everything. Sometimes the best teacher is the one that you put, it's the one that's recording and that's been recorded on your phone. So just record everything, watch yourself back, analyze, and be like, can I do this better? Is there a better way to do this to become more efficient? You know, one thing I learned from Shauna was that maybe you're making too many adjustments, and all those times you're making adjustments, it's making you inefficient. So try clean up your climbing sort of like technique, and potentially that could get you over the hump, hopefully. All right, I'm gonna go back to this. I just had to tell a woman, because I saw a woman, she was peaking. I was like, oh, if you want to climb, like, don't worry about messing up my video. So I just told her to come climb. You might see her, you might not. Let me try that white one again. Whoosh. There's this guy called David, old guy in his 50s. And he'll often do a climb like 2 or 3 times in a row, just to make sure he's nailed it. Just to make sure he's got it completely down to a T. And sometimes we get so excited about finishing a climb that we don't try to perfect the climb. Can we do it better? Is there a better way to do this? Can we make sure next time we do it, we don't cut loose? If you ask me, I think that was a better way than the first time I did it. Whew. Good. Let's try 3-3, the red one. So I made a mistake. This red one is a V1/V2. They do ranges in this gym, so yeah. So I technically should have done this before I did the white one, but it is what it is. Everything's hard. We can make some arrangements. That was a really nice climb. For the grade, it was really nice, like flowy. Said that you, even if you fail, you pick yourself up and try again. I think the heel to toe was fantastic. You couldn't see that, but I saw it. I felt it. I did like a heel to toe transition. Just gave me a lot more room to go for this hold, but this hold sucked. Oh, that's what I didn't want to happen. I didn't want my fingers just to slip off because it's such a bad hold. Hey, do you know what we don't speak about sometimes? Just the joy of just being able to do a climb. I'm gonna do this one. It's a low grade. It's a V1/2, and I just want to find a low-hanging fruit and climb. In saying that, I was like, oh, this is gonna be chilled. And then the start's like flipping slippery. It's like so smooth. Let's try this. Yeah, good stuff. It's a 3-4. Where's the second hand? Okay. I'm not gonna lie, that was challenging. All right, gang, I'm gonna call it a day. Thank you for joining me. If you are watching it all the way to the end, comment apples, orange, and pears in the comments. I know you're a real one. But thank you for joining me today. This has been like a mediocre session. Like, I might look back at the tape and be like, this was a good session, but who knows. Have a good day. See you on the other side. Peace.